What if DJI just quietly made the Pocket truly pocketable again? Today we're unpacking the Pocket 4 leaks and chassis shots to figure out what actually changed, what matters, and whether this is the compact vlogging upgrade you should care about. I'll cover the new body and buttons, the screen and control quirks, the likely camera and zoom improvements, battery and audio changes, and whether the Pocket 4 still beats Insta and GoPro for storytellers on the move. Stick around. The little mystery about those extra buttons is the part that tells you what DJI is trying to fix. Put the Pocket 4 next to the Pocket 3 and the DNA is obvious. But DJI didn't just iterate, they refined. The new chassis is slightly taller, noticeably slimmer, and drops down to roughly 116 grams from the Pocket 3's 179 grams. That weight cut is huge for handheld shooting and travel packing. The curious part is the extra buttons on the front. 2 more physical buttons may sound trivial, but think about what they could be. Dedicated zoom control, quick custom shortcuts, or instant mode switches. If DJI gives us tactile zoom steps instead of the clumsy digital pinch, that solves one of the Pocket 3's biggest usability complaints. Later, we'll talk about how those buttons might change vlog workflows. The display cutout appears unchanged, so expect the same rotatable 2-inch rear screen that made the series popular. That screen is the Pocket's secret weapon for selfie framing and quick monitoring. Oddly, the new front buttons slide under the panel in vertical mode, which raises questions about ergonomics and control mapping. Will DJI remap those buttons when you flip to portrait, or are they landscape-only features? Either way, the familiar grip shape remains, but the slimmer profile and lighter weight should make long handheld sessions less tiring. Trust me, when you're shooting all day, 100 grams feels like a world of difference. Leaks don't show the sensor yet, but industry chatter points to improved crop zoom and smarter processing rather than a bigger sensor. If DJI keeps a 1-inch sensor and refines the optical path and the digital zoom, we could get cleaner telephoto shots without the usual artifacting. There are whispers of 2 variants, a base skinny model and a pro model with a second lens and larger battery. That would make sense. One for casual vloggers who value size and price, another for creators who need extra reach and runtime. Pair better zoom with the Pocket Gimbal's natural motion, and DJI still owns a unique space that neither GoPro nor Insta easily replicate. A lighter body often means smarter power management, and the leaks suggest battery life improvements that could push usable shooting times substantially higher. Rumors hint at something in the multiple hours range for light use, which would make the Pocket 4 genuinely usable for day outings and travel vlogs. Another common Pocket 3 gripe was mic performance. On the Pocket 4, we're hearing about better built-in mic support and improved wind handling. If DJI nails onboard audio and gives clearer battery endurance, the Pocket 4 becomes a more complete solution for creators who do not want to carry extra mics and batteries. Price talk lands around $700 to $800, which is not cheap, but it is squarely between smartphone video and a full kit camera. If DJI delivers meaningful upgrades in control, zoom quality, low light, and audio, the cost is reasonable for creators who value convenience, gimbal stabilization, and fast outputs. Compared to Insta's modular approach and GoPro's action focus, the Pocket line still wins for natural cinematic handheld motion and one-handed storytelling. So, is it worth the upgrade? If you value better zoom control, lighter carry, and cleaner audio out of the box, yes, especially if the Pro variant appears. If you only want one feature, which would you pick? Zoom, low light, or log recording? Production looks real, the chassis is real, and the direction is clear. Smaller, smarter, more usable. Tell me which Pocket 4 rumor you want confirmed first. Physical zoom control, a second lens, or longer battery life? Drop it in the comments. What if an action camera finally felt like a proper hybrid between cinema gear and a pocket hero? Today we're breaking down the first official Action 6 leak, the hands-on images, the confirmed specs and pricing, and whether DJI just rewrote the rulebook for action cameras. I'll cover the size and design changes you can actually see in those side-by-side shots, the wild new variable aperture and square sensor, the insane video modes, battery life, and real-world durability, and who should actually care. Stick around. The variable f2 to f4 aperture detail later is the part that could change low-light action shooting forever. The leaks show a prototype sitting next to an Action 5 Pro, and the first thing you notice is how DJI refined the silhouette. The Action 6 looks familiar enough to be instantly recognizable, yet it reads more purposeful. A slightly larger face to hold the bigger sensor, a beefed-up rear bezel, and that new dual OLED setup hinted at in the images. Seeing it in a hand removes a lot of speculation. This is not a minor refresh. DJI seems to be targeting creators who want an easy one-handed interface, but also a sensor and lens setup that can actually outperform a smartphone in tricky lighting. Later we'll talk about why the square sensor makes framing so much more flexible for modern workflows. Here's the headline you need. A 1x1.1-inch square CMOS sensor paired with a variable aperture lens that goes from f2.0 to f4.0. That variable iris is reportedly a world first on an action camera, and it matters because it lets you dial in depth of field and exposure trade-offs instead of relying on software alone. The square sensor also gives DJI more framing options for horizontal, vertical, and square outputs without losing pixels. In short, you get better low-light performance, cleaner highlights, and more creative control in camera. If you shoot mixed content for social and short-form platforms, that flexibility is huge. Specs leaked show some bold moves. 8,000 at 30 frames per second with HDR and ProRes codec, 5,300 at 60 frames per second, 4,000 at 120 frames per second, and Full HD at 240 frames per second. Those numbers put the Action 6 in true cinema-adjacent territory while still keeping action frame rates for slow motion. Add Rocksteady 4.0 and AI-driven auto-framing and horizon lock, and you have a stabilization suite that not only smooths footage, but intelligently composes and keeps your subject centered. That is enormous for solo creators who need pro-looking results with minimal editing. DJI reportedly pushed a 1,950 mAh battery that enables over 4 hours of 4,000 recording in ideal conditions, plus support for hot swappable batteries. That efficiency leap paired with faster power management means long shoots and quick changeovers without downtime. Dual OLED screens, magnetic modular rear swaps, and a water rating that works to 20 meters without a case and 60 meters with one make this a genuinely adventure-ready tool. Combine that with the projected price point around $399 for the base and $449 for the Pro, and you see DJI positioning the Action 6 as a direct competitor to the very top of the market. If you're a creator who mixes fast shoots with cinematic moments, the Action 6 checks more boxes than ever. The variable aperture and square sensor aren't gimmicks. They genuinely change how you shoot and edit. If you're chasing better low-light, ProRes, or longer endurance, this one's worth it. So what would make you upgrade? The variable aperture, 8K HDR, or that hot swappable battery? Drop your pick below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for the full deep dive when DJI goes official on November 18th.